And he then goes on to explain that on his return to work, he did have a conversation with witness B, and told her about an article that he has seen. He then says that witness B declined to talk about the matter and said it was very sensitive. He then informed witness B that you, over the weekend, had indicated that your brother-in-law wanted to know if the state is opposing bail or if the bail is to be fixed and how much would it be, and further that your brother-in-law was willing to pay the bail of the accused. So you deny all of that?
I deny, Advocate, and just to remind you that what I earlier said in my initial evidence, that I know what is the processes of granting bail. So I wouldn't have gone to the sergeant to ask, will the state oppose bail or how much will be the bail, because it's not the sergeant or the investigating officer that is allocating bail.
But Brigadier, surely you know that the presiding officer would not have much to work on if they do not have information from the investigating officer or whoever else may assist. And you know that what's usually placed before the investigating officer are either affidavits or testimony in the witness stand. And then that assists the presiding officer to decide whether to grant or refuse bail. Now, if, for example, an investigating officer, whether on their own or as a result of influence by others, decide not to oppose bail, that may go a long way towards influencing the decision to be one that actually grants bail when it ought not to have been. I'm not saying that that will happen automatically, but I'm saying it may well have that effect. So I don't think it assists for you to say, it's the presiding officer that grants bail. That doesn't say much.
Thank you, Commissioner, Chair. I agree with what you are saying. However, Commissioner, it will be very much, I don't know how can I put it, I'll be out of my mind in the absence of the relevant term that I can use, to suggest that the investigating officer will know, even if she could have an influence, Commissioner, towards the granting of the bail. But to an extent that I go and say, go and ask how much will be the bail, is really unforeseen of a person of at my level, Commissioner. I really can't say that. It does not suit my profile.
I think what the chairperson is engaging on you on is your answer suggests that the police and specifically the investigating officer is completely irrelevant to the question of bail. And the chair is saying, but that's not, in reality, that's not how it works. The investigating officer gets to express a view on bail. They don't make the decision, but they do get to express a view. And the way you've been dealing with this question since you started testifying is you're creating the impression that the police and investigating officers in particular are irrelevant to the question. that's a matter for the court to deal with, for the presiding officer, and nobody else matters. And that's an incorrect, description of what happens when bail applications are brought. And I wanted to suggest much earlier that when Mr. Molefe speaks to you, he's speaking to you as a police officer to ask about the police attitude towards bail. There will be the prosecutor's attitude towards bail, and eventually the magistrate will make a decision. But it's not an accurate reflection of what happens when you say, we have nothing to do with it, it's the magistrate and that's it, or the court and that's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. Commissioner, I hear what you're saying. And my response towards that is back to what I said earlier on, really, because I know, I'm accepting that, yes, the investigating officer can have an influence, can have a word, will be assisting in the granting of the bail and so forth. However, Commissioner, I would have known if I intended to assist my brother-in-law with this bail. I would have told him from the onset that, Swara, even if bail is not going to be opposed, we will not be in a position to know when the bail is granted, how much will it be? Secondly, this is a Schedule 6 offense, Commissioner. You can't start having to, ask an investigating officer not to oppose bail because it's a Schedule 6 offense. It's a very serious offense. This incident, it happened in aggravating circumstances.
But a corrupt police official could do that. I'm not saying that you are. I'm not saying that you are. But you appear to be proceeding from the premise that there are no corrupt police officers out there who could do something like that. I know, of course, you are testifying with regard to yourself. But the reality is that there are corrupt officers, and corrupt officers could act in that manner. That is, in a manner where they would not oppose bail when they ought to. So basically your answer is, I'm not one of those and I would never ever do that. Is that your answer? You've already accepted what Commissioner Baloyi and I posited to you. You've accepted that. So basically what you are doing now is to say, I'm not a corrupt police officer and I would never do that. Am I summarizing what you are saying correctly?
100%, Commissioner Chair. I am not a corrupt officer, and I will never do that. And Commissioner, in real, if I wanted to do that, I would have rather approached the magistrate handling that case. I'm in a position where I'm working with the magistrate in that area, and perhaps I will have even gone to a prosecutor.
Approach a magistrate in open court, or?
No, if I was corrupt.
Or with a brown
envelope. If I was
envelope.
corrupt, yes. Yes, I will do it anyhow, but not straightforward.
All right, then.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Brigadier, but you do accept that there are various points of entry when you are trying to influence the process. In your statement, you did list that it is the prosecutor, the magistrate and the investigating officer?
Yes, Advocate, I do accept there are corrupt police officers who will use any means and ways to get it their way, but not an experienced cop like me doing it that way. That was too low for me.
All right, Brigadier. And then Sergeant Tsukudu then also said something about your brother-in-law being willing to pay for the bail of the accused. So you denied all of that, but how would he know this part?
I also want to know, how did he know that my brother-in-law is willing to pay that bail, equally to how much is going to be affixed? I also want to know, Commissioners.
But you accept that it is odd that he would know this particular detail, given that that's something that only Mr. Molefe told you?
Yes, it is odd, Commissioner.
And then,
I think the right word is it's a coincidence, not odd. It would be a strange coincidence that Mr. Molefe said to you he's prepared to pay bail, and Sergeant Tsukudu repeats that. If he didn't hear it from you, and I'm not. It's not clear to me why, considering that Mr. Molefe said it to you, that he's prepared to pay bail, why you would deny, when you're admitting that you did say your brother-in-law asked about whether the state would oppose bail. I don't see the harm in you admitting that I did complete that conversation with Molefe to Tsukudu by saying, my brother-in-law said he's prepared to pay bail. I mean, it would make sense to me that you would have conveyed all of that line of communication. And you're denying that you mentioned that. Then the coincidence in the versions that you say, I never told him that Molefe is prepared to pay bail, or my brother-in-law is prepared to pay bail, and yet Mr. Molefe told you that. It's a strange coincidence that he would know that.
Thanks, Commissioner Baloyi. Let me take the commissioners back to my earlier submission that commissioners, I'm not perfect. I'm not a saint either. And we were discussing this passively in a drinking place, and I don't, I'm accepting that I may not remember vividly everything that we discussed there, but I don't remember me saying all those things to the sergeant. I did not send him. I did not remember me sending him and talking about those. Perhaps if I touch base,
What the Brigadier has said is, if he did touch base, he didn't hear himself saying it. I'm actually making a different point. I'm not talking about you sending him. We are not there yet. I was just addressing that Mr. Molefe says to you, he asks whether the state would oppose bail. You say that happened, and Sergeant Tsukudu said you mentioned that, so there's no dispute there. But we also know from you that Mr. Molefe said to you that he's prepared to pay bail, to the bail money for his friend. And then Sergeant Tsukudu says in the statement that you mentioned that your brother-in-law is prepared to pay bail. And what I'm saying is, I don't see harm, and it's, in fact, I think it's probable that's how it happened. You did explain the context. You're in a Stockville. You're having this casual conversation, you say. to us. And in that casual conversation that you are having, it's more likely than not that when you mention that your brother-in-law asked whether the state would oppose bail, it's likely that you would have said, and he said he would be prepared to pay bail, even if that's all you say, and that would explain why Sergeant Tsukudu knows that part, that your brother-in-law said he's prepared to pay bail. It would explain it, that it came from you, and it came in the context that you are explaining to us.
Thanks, Commissioner Baloyi. I accept that.
Brigadier, then Sergeant Tsukudu comes back and says, witness B informed him that she was opposing bail, and then he returns this information to you. He relays this information to you. Do you deny that happened?
Yes, I deny it.
Before dealing with the second time that Sergeant Tsukudu goes back to witness B, my question is, it is quite an elaborate scheme, if it is one, that Sergeant Tsukudu has put here. It's a detailed conversation that has elements that match with yours, but if this never happened, i.e. you never sent him, why would he concoct this sort of story?
That is what I also want to find out. Why did he concoct this story? But as I was dipping and waking up with this matter, many things come to my mind. So, Tsukudu is my longtime friend, and with others, and go to Stockholm together and do many things together. And obviously, I'm his senior by far. And earlier on, I accepted that he's doing me favors, I'm doing him favors, be it official or otherwise. Perhaps, I'm not saying this is how it happened, but I'm just thinking on my own. Perhaps he thought he's doing a friend a favor. I don't know, he wanted to do me a favor, because all what I record is when he said, but Brigadier, you say, this is your brother-in-law. Then I said, yes, he's my brother-in-law, but I stopped him in his tracks. So I'm just deducting, like thumbing, as to why would he go thus far, perhaps, and I come up amongst other thinkings that perhaps he was just trying to do a friend a favor.
Brigadier, why would he want to do that favor when you made it clear to them that you do not discuss work with other people? And in fact, you said to them you would not act on it. He's, like you said, he's your longtime friend. And you've made it clear to them that you told them you don't discuss work and you don't do this. And you even said in that conversation, in that exchange, someone said, but Brigadier, why don't you? And you, at that moment, even shut it down and you said, me? No, I don't do that. So why would that be a favor for a friend who has expressed that they do not want to engage in that?
Yes, commissioners, all I'm saying is not a fact. I'm not saying that is what was in his mind. I'm just, scrambling around to think, this could be the possibility that crossed my mind, but I'm not saying that was the fact.
Is there a possibility that you were not as assertive about your reluctance to intervene? And this is why he felt that he could help you in this manner?
There were many possibilities. I'll say yes. There
Or,
could
or,
be a
or,
possibility.
or worse is the possibility not that you actually did ask for the favor.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Chair.
I'm saying, or worse still, is the other possibility that you actually did ask for the favor from Sergeant Tsukudu, which is why you are not able to explain what happened or what he did or what he says he did.
Commissioner, I'm sorry. I'm not really understanding that statement.
Yes, yes.
I really.
You disagree? No, you are free. Feel free. Don't be, don't be hesitant in your response. Tell me to my face that you disagree.
No, it's not a matter of disagreeing. I just really.
Oh, you don't follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Powe suggested a possibility to you as to what may have happened, and if I remember well, I think Ms. Powe said you may not have been assertive enough in indicating that you would not be willing to engage in what is being alleged. And in fact, that you had said to Mr. Mulife, I do not talk about work. And you repeat that when you are talking to the people you are with at the stock fair. So Ms. Powe, if I understood her correctly, says, when you said that, perhaps you were not, the possibility is that you were not assertive enough, which is why, despite you having repeated this to those you are with at the stock fair, Sergeant Tsukudu would still have gone ahead and made this inquiry from witness B. And once he got a response, have then come back to you and given you that response. So that's the possibility that Ms. Powe is suggesting to you. I'm saying, worse still, another possibility is that you may actually have made the request to Sergeant Tsukudu. Sergeant Tsukudu, please go to witness B and make these inquiries on my behalf with regard to the question of bail. So that's the other possibility I'm suggesting to you, which is harsher than what Ms. Powe suggested. Do you follow me now?
Now I follow you, Commissioner. Thanks very much.
Yes.
Yeah, Commissioner, I could have not been assertive enough, and in simple English, I will say.
We are past that. That's the possibility that was suggested by Ms. Powe, and I think you responded. Now I'm putting to you, or I'm suggesting to you, another possibility. So please respond to the second possibility that I'm suggesting to you.
I don't think, Commissioner, it could have gone to that an extent after having told them that I told my brother-in-law that I don't discuss my cases with a civilian, and my work is off limits. I would have gone to tell, even if I'm so cut, I don't remember me having done a mistake of that nature to say, I instruct you to go and do this and this and this, Commissioner. And another thing, Commissioner, I believe that you will know that we're talking about the sergeant here. And the sergeant is not an entry-level rank in the police. I believe that he's more than 20 years of service. And as a sergeant, he should have known.
It's a friend doing a friend a favor.
Yeah, that one I take, Commissioner.
Yes,
that
yes.
one I take, but I couldn't have given him that instruction like that, General Commissioner, I'm sorry. And even if it slumbered during the conversation, which was, during the enjoying ourselves, I don't think I could have gone to that far, Commissioner. And I can take only that one that he could have done that by thinking that he's doing me a favor. And of course, he knows I'll always look after him if he is looking after me.
I must say at this stage, there are lots of probabilities that point in the opposite direction, but I hope Ms. Bowe will take us through those, and we too will probably come in. There are lots of probabilities that point in the opposite direction.
Okay, Commissioner.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Bowe.